Alright, so this is going to be the beginner's guide for Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. We're going to talk about everything, and timestamps will be down below if you're interested to see how units work, how the stats work, how recollection bits work, how the gameplay works, how the gacha function works, are the main questions I'm going to try answering. Now, there are many sources I have used for these videos, so I will link them all down below. And at the end of this video, I will go over the most important sources for you guys to really look towards for now and in the future. Now, JJK as a side game, I think will be absolutely amazing, especially if you love JJK. Just a very fun game. And I recently, or I'm going to soon, one of my next videos is going to be about the fact of, well, all the future banners that are coming out. And I went through every single unit's kit, and a lot of kits were looking very, very cool, very, very fun. So I think as a side gacha where you just collect the units you want to, don't spend too much or not at all, which I recommend, it's going to be great. So Jujutsu Kaisen, let's start with the main menu first. Since we're here, we're going to start with the main menu. Thank you to the wiki for a lot of the information that I was able to build up from just all of their guides and just stuff like this. So to help break this down, first of all, we have the menu. There's a couple things to realize here. We're going to go into characters afterwards. Now, you're able to set your wallpaper in the back with these buttons. Now, after that, there's the player rank. So here's your player rank, and this is basically going to be leveled up from doing a lot of stages and stages that take AP. That's basically how it works. Now, like, there's not really much more to say for that, but there are also going to be some stat bonuses when you're alongside certain affiliations. So that is another part to it. Now then, the AP is basically the stamina. Okay, there's not really much more to say. Guys, it's your stamina. You use stamina by, well, like in quests. All right, so that's basically it for that. Now we have the 5 menus here. First of all, we've got the inbox. Okay, so we got the inbox. All right, and then after that, now the JP is a bit glitchy. I would like to say it's because of the VPN, so I'm gonna hope that's the case, right? Now after that, we do have missions. Okay, so in this, there's gonna be daily missions, normal missions, and then campaign relation missions, and then event missions. So here are the daily missions. Okay, then we got these, right? So a bunch of general missions. Then here are for the campaign, which I'm guessing he cleared, and then event missions, which do take me elsewhere, which we're gonna exit out of. All right, so you could see 2 types of currencies on the top. The one on the left is called JP, which is basically your gold, your coins, your Yule, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it's what you use to level up and all that good stuff. So that's going to be the kind of gold currency of the game. And then you got cubes. So to do a multi, it's going to cost you 3,000. It is your gacha currency, and to do 1 pull, it is 300. Okay, so yes, there are paid cubes, but I won't really be getting into that part of the game. But yes, these are your 2 types of currencies that you will be having in this game. There are more, but in terms of actual currencies, it's gold and your gacha currency that you have. So this kind of cuts it for the main menu. You have the quests, which is going to show you all the kind of game modes, and then you see the current events out right now right there. So now we're going to go from left to right in this on the bottom, and then go to quest at the end. And we are going to start with this. So in here, there are a couple of things you're going to be able to see. So we got the character enhancement, character level up. We got the memory actual enhancement. Then we got team formation. And then we got soul piece transformation, which is for the characters. And then this is for the memories. So let's head into this. Start with this. All right. So we're going to talk about everything character related first, then go to memories or recollection bits. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about the rest of the menus. All right. So starting off, there are 2 things you could realize. Well, everyone has a grade depending on their color. So there is SSR, which is the rainbow. There is SR, which is the gold. And then there's rare, which is the silver. And then there's also the typing. So there's red, green, blue, and yellow. So from what I know, they just go off the colors. That's the names. And then obviously there's the type advantages and disadvantages that you'll be able to see with that. So let's go on this Gojo. And let's check a couple of things. So we could see the stats here. There are all these stats present. And I will be able to pull up exactly, well, what stats they are, essentially. But first, let's just go and check it out here. And then we'll be able to just check it out basically from left to right, top to bottom, how it's looking. So let's start with this. First of all, that's the battle power. The top one's the battle power, and it's just like, you know, their average reading, right? It's not really saying much, but it's their BP. Then the second one, obviously it says HP. It is your HP, so it's your hit points. That's literally it. Okay, not really much to say. Now then, we have, for the first stat below HP is called Taijutsu. The second one is called Jujutsu. So you will see this on the wiki a lot where it says Taijutsu and Jujutsu. Usually Taijutsu is for physical type of units like Toji and Yuji and Maki. And then Jujutsu is for units like Gojo mainly. But Gojo has both pretty much equally, right? So that's a big thing, right? Probably Sukuna is going to have more Jujutsu. But basically, that's it. So some units have more Taijutsu, some units have more Jujutsu, some units work better off Jujutsu, and some units work better off of Taijutsu. So it really just depends on the unit, but usually one of these two stats, depending on the unit, is either higher or one of the stats is completely missing, like in someone like Maki. Okay, that's a good example that I could give you. Now then, afterwards, we've got initial cursed energy. And this is basically how much the unit's going to have when they enter the battle, okay? So the cursed energy is needed to actually do skills. For example, Gojo's skills takes 1, but usual units takes 20 to 30, all right? Now then afterwards, the other stat is going to be maximum cursed energy, which is the most he could have, which is 120. Then the ultimate skill gauge is the amount basically of like points you need to actually use your ult. So with an easier, with less amount of numbers, if you have 500, it's going to be easier than if you have 1,500 to get your ult. So those are basically all the stats. But we could view it a bit more in depth if we just go into, well, if we check out one of the characters over here. So let's do this. Let us use someone well-rounded, I guess. Yes, Todo. So we see the HP, then we see Taijutsu, and then Jujutsu. Okay, so he has a bit of both. Bit more Taijutsu, as you can see. Then he starts off with 30 cursed energy, has a max of 85, and then his ult is 1363. Now then, you can see here it takes 20 cursed energy to use, which means immediately he'd be able to use that and this one if he wants to. So that's basically how it works for the stats in this game. Now then, you could actually see some other things too, which we'll talk about very soon. But first, I would kind of like to go into the skills. So every skill can be upgraded. So first of all, these are command skills. These three here are the command skills and can be used at any time. It's just that the second and third cost actual cursed energy. They could all level up to level 10, okay? And then there is an ultimate. So the ultimate is when you can only use it when the ult gauge is full, which in Gojo's case is when he gets to 973 points. And then he has auto skills, which are usually passives, basically, in this game. They count as passives a lot of the time. So a lot of newer units have like 2 very Bible long passives or auto skills, right? But I like to call them passives in my eyes. Now then, we got level. The max level really does depend because it depends on the grade. So the higher your grade, the more levels you can get. I've seen like, I think like 130 or like 126, something like that. But the higher your grade, you use these items and then you'll be able to get them to a grade higher, and every higher grade gives you more levels maxed out, okay? And then after that, you got limit break, okay? And this is when you get dupes of the unit, which then I don't know, I mean to press on that. When you get dupes of the unit, you're going to be able to, and universal dupes are there in the game. I'm going to talk about that in the exchange shop section. Universal dupes or Gojo dupes, you'll be able to get them to a higher limit break potential. And then here is where you level up your skills, all 4 of them. And that's basically going to be it for this tab. There's not really much more to go over, right? Now, besides just that, there is an item here which allows you, this one, above the limit break, that allows you to increase your level cap by 10, and are very rare items, but obviously 10 levels would be very, very strong. So, yeah, this is going to be like something I don't know if it's gonna be there on global. I didn't play on JJK JP launch, so I have no clue, but this is an item that increases the level, so you should probably save that for more important units. Well, obviously Gojo is important, but like other units that you really want, like Yuta maybe, or hidden inventory Gojo if he comes early, which would be really nice in my opinion. Now then, the next page here is recollection bits. So these recollection bits are basically like a skill page in Black Clover if you come from Black Clover, or other weapons or gear in other games. So what this actually gives, first of all, is stats. So you can see here, Gojo, this one is going to give 18% HP, and I'm pretty sure that's Jujutsu for 54%. Now, I'm going to use this from the wiki because I feel like the wiki shows it very well. Because it's a lot better than in game. In my opinion, it's way better displayed than in game. So let's go to a memory of SSR rating. So then, the Jogo one. Basically, it's going to give HP, then it's either HP, Taijutsu, or Jujutsu. Okay. This one gives HP and Jujutsu. Then you have one passive, which you could see right here. It's the one on the left, the orange one. And this one is just your normal one. Then when you get it to Limit Breaker 3, it actually upgrades slightly. As you can see, this one is Limit Breaker 5, so the passive is completely duped. And then at Limit Breaker 1, you unlock the second passive, which is the one that you see on the right, the green circle. And these two passives are going to be added on to pretty much whoever. And for example, the Gojo one that we have pulled up is going to be increasing Jujutsu damage here, and then fill zone alt gauge by 200 at the start of each wave. So like this is a very good recollection bit to have when you have it at LB1 for sure. Damage increase and get your ult way quicker. You cannot ask for more. So this to me, very, very cool. I like it. It's pretty simple, but obviously the rates are not the best. It's 2.5% for SSR recollection bit, so keep that in mind. I don't really, there's no pity for these, so you know, you have to get pretty lucky, but 2.5%, I don't know if I'd say there's something left to be desired. It's honestly not too bad, but still. So yeah, it really does only work on HP, Taijutsu, or Jujutsu for that, so please do keep that in mind. Now there is the level up, and then there is the limit break. Like I said, limit break allows you to get the passive where it upgrades the first one, and then at limit break 1 it allows you to get a full new passive. Okay, LB3 upgrades the first one, and LB1 gives you a new one. Okay, so that's basically it. Some give more HP, some give more taijutsu, all of that, right? That's basically how that works. So keep that all in mind. Now we could also go here, okay, just to explain it a little bit, but basically like these are all your extra shards that you're able to get, and like if okay, if you trade it, you're gonna be able to get these resources. Okay, so let me we're gonna probably show that a bit later on in this video. Slight chance I do forget. If I do, please let me know down below and I will reply to you in the comments. So after this, what we could do, I would like to go to the gacha, okay, because this is basically, well, we could go, like, sure. It's just showing you things that happened. So if we click on the Sukun one, well, it's just showing all the stories. So there's up to 15 chapters right now. So I don't really think there's really much to show right there. And we just finished going over the main screen. So let's go to gacha real quick. Let's go to gacha. For this, there are a lot of things to know. First of all, on here, there's a paid pull that you could do for 100 paid crystals. Paid cubes, but then a normal costs 300, and just one pull costs 300. Then a multi costs 10 pulls for 3,000 crystals. Now then, let's just let me show you a bit how the menu looks. All right, so basically you get details, gacha details, exchange, and then we'll go to the other one right now. So for exchange, basically what it's saying is your pity points. Okay, we could explain it a bit. So basically, one draw equals to 1 point here. So it takes 25 multis, 250 pulls, 75,000 cubes to guarantee a unit. Now, gacha point cards, how does it work? All right, so I will read this excerpt from the actual wiki because I believe it is way better to read it from here. So, gacha point cards are a system introduced into Phantom Parade that intends to alleviate the incredibly demanding pity. Every time you're in 20 gacha points, you can exchange them for 10 gacha point cards. Okay. These cards can be used on future banners, and they will equal to 1 gacha point each. So let's say you get a unit early, you're able to use it later on for future banners, and it's going to give you extra pulls. So if you pull, for example, Megumi 20 pulls in, or 30, and then you're looking for a recollection bit, then you can continue summoning, and then you'll have pulls in the future, right? Which is great. Or like, let's say you get to 240, and then you get Megumi. Well, then you have all those points that you could use for this, which is going to give you back 12 multis, right, essentially, which I think is a pretty damn good system. Like, what I have 40 pulls here, right? So, you know, I like this. I like this. Now then, for the actual gacha details, we could go into the details. I think it's this one. Yes, yes. So, the SSR for recollection bits, right, is going to be 5%. Sorry, I had it warped. So, characters is 2.5, and then recollection bits is 5%. All right. So, that is pretty good. Then on the 10th pull, right, it's basically no rares, so that's why this is here. But for 1 to 9, right, you have a 7.5% chance of SSR, which is pretty high. But considering that, you know, there's a good amount of good amount of characters, it's going to be decently hard. But with pity, honestly, it is not that bad. Overall, it is not crazy bad, right? And there's going to be multiple banners at once usually. Like we have the Megumi one and then the Nobara one. Now we have a standard. And from what I was told, I just want to see the exchange shop for this, if there is one. But yes, there is a ticket here. I would like if it showed with images, the mages, but I said mages again. The units, but it's fine. So from what I know, from what I was told, basically this does update, right? It does take some time, but it does update. And this, I mean, there you go. Like, it does update. You could go on the standard for this one. Obviously, if you're not chasing a unit in particular at global launch, this could be better in some cases. But you know, obviously, the only banner on launch should be UG's. So we will have to see for that. But that basically sums it up for the gacha aspect. Now then, real quick, the character rank. So, for example, let's go to Gojo, right? This one's going to be pretty important because there has been 3 Gojos since the beginning. If you use him more and get up his character rank, he will actually give buffs to all Gojo units. So, I'd say that's actually pretty important. Let me try to find them, though, because I'm, like, a little blind with this. So you could see here the buffs for HP, I'm guessing Taijutsu and Jujutsu, all because they use Gojo. That's literally it. You get extra bonuses and Gojo's at rank 29. And because of that, you also get a bit of extra pull. So this is something to keep in mind. And then, of course, this is how you're going to buff your units even further. So that is honestly very important long-term, 1000%. All right, so now we're going to get into team building. So basically how it works is at all times, you're going to have 4 units on the field. Okay, so you have a main 4 and then you have one that substitutes in. So every single unit's going to have a recollection bit tied to their slot, not to the unit, to the slot. So let's say you switch Gojo and Yaga. Yaga's going to get Gojo's, Gojo's going to get Yaga's. That's basically how it works. Now then, with these 4, you're gonna, if one dies, then the 5th unit comes into play. So in these types of teams, usually how I'm seeing it built is a lot of the times you'll have 2 support units on average, right? And then you'll have your DPSs to go crazy, okay? These support units are going to be able to usually buff damage or even lower the enemy's damage, which kind of work as tanks in a way. And then obviously if you have Gojo, then you are safe in a lot of these teams. So, also, the support unit is like gonna usually be someone you want to come in later. Now for this support unit, it should be like your last thought, especially on global launch, because of the fact that for the most part you're going to want to focus on 4 mainly. And if you're able to build up 4, the content that starts at the beginning, you should be good with just your main 4. Even something like this, if you want to put Nobara instead of Yuji, then it works. But like for real, this is going to be like a good solid base. You get your 4 recollection bits, you get your 4 units, and then the last one you're going to be able to build up over time, where it could literally, once you get Yuta in 2 or 3 weeks, then you should be fine. Alright, so we're going to talk about the game modes and then we'll head into a battle and show off the gameplay a bit so you could understand. So, starting off, we got the main quest, and this main quest covers basically some of Jujutsu Kaisen, and then also a game original story called the Fukuoka Branch Campus arc. All right, now it's going to be pretty easy from what I'm understanding to actually get through, and it doesn't take much AP. So this one is going to be one that you could do pretty early on, and if you want to read it, go ahead, have fun with that. Then after that, you got events. Now in events, there are 3 different types of events that you're usually going to see every single month. From what I've heard, they rotate between a story event, a map event, and a powerful enemy battles event. So I could actually give you an example of the powerful enemy battles event, but right now you see, I'm pretty sure the map event is there was one recently, but it's going to rotate between those 3. So for the map event, it's basically going to be you're clearing stages along a map with some bosses, and then it's going to give you some currency. Okay, now for the story events, it's basically obviously going to be story focused, right? I mean, that's pretty simple. And then there's also going to be currency for an exchange shop. So those 2 do have an exchange shop. Now then, as for the powerful enemy battles, I do want to show you one. And we could go, let me just open this and let's show it. So basically, you could see here, on launch, there was the story event, Boundaries of Nostalgia. Then there was the map event, okay? And I think the boss event was in December, I would like to say. There's another map event, and then you could see story event. Let me find the first boss. Alright, so there was a powerful enemy battle event versus Eso and Kichizu. So, like, this is, I think, the first example of one. Hopefully, they bring them a lot more frequently on global, but that is honestly something, you know, gonna be probably one of the better pieces of content in this game. So that's gonna be one of the 3 main events. Alright, so that's it for events. Now we got Cursed Object Collection, which, as you can see, there is a, like, kind of limit to how much you could do with that points right on the bottom. Basically, you're going to be able to clear different stages, and you're going to need to get certain, well, you're going to need to get what I would say, stars. And when it's cleared with full conditions, you basically are able to auto-clear it. And this is going to be giving you materials, which we'll check right now. This is all going to be for character grade level to increase the max level. Okay, so let's say you're at grade 11, then you're going to get an extra, I think, 6 levels compared to grade 10, which is level 100 to 106 essentially. Now then, after this, we got the domain investigation right here. Okay, so let's talk about this. Basically, you're going to have 5 battles basically in a row, and it's going to basically carry over with the amount of HP, and you're going to get buffs, right? So after the fourth battle, you're also going to be getting some other types of buffs, right? And in this, you're actually going to get some really good rewards in the exchange shop, which we'll check out right now. And you could see here that you're able to get 2 SSR tickets, a SSR universal dupe, and some good other rewards, but there's a lot. So like 2 SSR tickets and a universal dupe. Now this is something you do over time, and a universal dupe, I mean, you cannot complain. Now this mode you could do 3 times a day, as you can see right here. Okay, there's 3 different difficulties, and then you get more currency. I did not mean to click on that. You get more currency, and you have 3 attempts to get your universal dupes and free SSR tickets. So that is going to be pretty important long term. That's going to be something I'll do a video on later on. Now then, strengthening quest. What exactly is this? This is going to be to get materials, and these materials are going to be to level up characters and recollection bits. Okay, we got 3 types. We got the red, the blue, the red, or the orange, I guess. Orange, red for leveling characters, blue for recollection bits, and then JP is your gold, right? To level up also. So that's going to be it. Then powerful enemy encounter. So you're going to actually be able to fight bosses in this, and you see a good amount of bosses. Well, four, sorry. I don't know if I would consider that a good amount. Okay. And there's going to be conditions that you're going to have to meet, and then you're going to be getting different rewards when you do them, like cubes and also recollection bits from them. And this one also requires AP. So that's it for the powerful enemies encounter. Then illusory tower is 50 floors that you do, and you get a bunch of rewards for doing them. But so far it's 50 floors. This is a game mode that they could easily continue to update. They could add another 50 floors, 100 floors, but this one's going to be your end game content that you're going to strive towards. Now the thing is with this is that actually it's going to come early to global. It might not even be there on global launch, but it will be there at some point. Okay, keep that in mind. Then there's dispatch. Okay, you want to do this. Dispatch, when you unlock it, is going to be for the 4 things. So character level, JP, and then the recollection levels. And then this one, I'm pretty sure, was it the grade? I'm pretty sure it was for grade. I'm not really 100% sure. So that's it for the game modes, really. That's the game modes we have right now. But remember, first anniversary is about to come in like 2 weeks time. So either this slot could be filled out, or illusory tower, as it came for the half anniversary, could continue to be added with more floors for the first annie, which might come for half annie on global, which means more content for us to have, which is always great. Cannot complain. All right, so let's head in. Basically, obviously, first of all, most important, there are type advantages and type disadvantages, which increases and decreases your damage. That we're not going to focus on too much. Okay, I don't really think it's that crazy to really talk about, but we could talk about some other things first. All right, so let's head in. Cool. All right, so now here we are, and basically, first of all, you choose all 4 of your attacks first in a wave. Now then here, you could actually put on the recollection bit, because of course they do have some skills. So for example, Gojo's could increase his Jujutsu damage, so things like that. Now besides that, you could see there is a couple things. So first of all, type advantage, disadvantage, the HP bar, and then below it's the break. So let's say you break their bar. Well, basically when it breaks, it's going to actually make them take more damage. So that's thing number 1. Okay, we're going to talk about the break first. We'll just watch the HP bar go down. I don't really need to do much. Just buff again, and then we'll do damage. All right, there we go. So for example, to change, you would go here, and then you would attack afterwards. So then you attack all 4, and then here we go. So he gives a buff, Yaga attacks, and then after Gojo's going to attack. So you see the break bar does go down slightly, but due to them not being, or Gojo, because they're not type advantage, it's not going to do a crazy amount, but you do see that the break does go down. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, besides breaks, there is also crit hits. So one of the big things about Itadori, for example, is critting. So critting in this game, sorry, I had to do this. Critting in this game will be doing 1.5 times damage, unless you have other crit damage increases, right? And then we'll talk about the other thing afterwards. Okay, and then we'll buff. So let's see if we could get some crits on this one with Itadori, which I think he's confused, but we did not get a crit there. Unfortunately, okay, there we go, critical. So when he gets the crit, he's going to be doing 1.5 times damage. Okay, so please do keep that in mind. All right. Now then, after that, there is also black flashes, which I will put up on screen. So black flashes, okay. This is what a black flash looks like. All right, so it's going to be a bunch of things, and it's the same as a crit. Basically, some units could do black flashes, and some units could do both. All right, now if a unit could do black flash, it could be good because certain units, basically how it works is once you do a black flash, you have a higher chance to proc a black flash, or for example, your ult directly procs a black flash, which is basically a crit, but works separately because a crit and a black flash is both different, but they both have the same utility as increasing it by 1.5 times the original damage. So please keep that in mind. Now then, finally, the last thing that's very important to this is actually combo ultimates. So as you can see here, Nobara and Gojo are doing an ultimate, right? And let me scroll out to here. So basically, they're doing an ult together. All right. So if both units, if they're able to, both units have their ult, they will be able to do a cooperative ult. So please keep that in mind, right? Sometimes you might be able to pull that off, and that's another thing about Nobara and Gojo is they'll have a cool little animation together to really help them do that. So that's basically it, right? You got the cursed energy, which like you see there, and like let's say it takes 20, there you go. Then he does his normal attack, and then Yuji does this, and then Gojo doesn't really need to do much. So like there you go. That's basically how you fight, right? There's a bit more to the combat. If you want a full in-depth combat review and guide, please do let me know. But for now, that's essentially it for the combat. You could also put it on auto and select it before, but that's literally it for that. So let's get out of here. Now then, I remember to show it. So basically, if you get enough, right, if you get 250, you could get dupes for any of these units. So you could get dupes for Hollow Purple Gojo. At this point, it's crazy to think about. Normal Gojo, and then I guess also Inumaki is a pretty decent one. And oh yeah, okay, there's a bunch here. That is why. So there's a bunch of other ones like sorry, Megumi. All right, is there another like really crazy one? Momo's good, right? So like there's a lot of units that you're able to get dupes for, and that's basically by selling out at a universal dupe for 300. So keep that in mind. If you sell the extra dupes, you're able to get that stuff. And then here you could, this is what we talked about, the game mode, then some other exchange shops, and then here you could get these units, right, which I'm pretty sure hold on. Which, if you see here, the metal that we saw before to get the units is going to be from the Realm of Chaos, and also, well, it's going to be, if we check, we could just check it out. If you complete this one with the 5 waves, is how you're going to be able to get some later on, right? So that's that for that exchange shop, right? And then afterwards, we could check some of the other ones. Sure, why not? I mean, there's not really many more to check, right? You could check the rest yourself, but there is also a universal dupe to get here if you have 10 of them. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to get universal dupes. Honestly, I mean, for this type of game, it's going to be pretty nice. See universal dupe here, and then you can get a bunch of other dupes for your units with time. So that's great. And that kind of, like, unless I'm forgetting something, I don't feel like I am. That really does summarize everything, basically. Pretty much, right? And this is what I was talking about for selling your things here. So like if I gave one of these, it gave 1 extra. So that's that. So I hope this helped. I hope this gave you a bit more of an idea of what to do for JJK Fanpara. And I will see you guys very soon for many more videos. Now, I do want to say thank you. A bunch of the socials down below. If you need to see anything, right? All the socials I usually have in my JJK videos, so please do utilize them, especially the wiki. Now, do subscribe because I'm posting a lot more JJK content, as you can see here, right? I'm really honing in on it, and I hope everything goes well for JJK. I really do want to have fun with it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye-bye.